Welcome to episode 10 of the design series, creating a custom computer case for a NAS with SOLIDWORKS xDesign. Spoiler alert, this is the final episode. In this series, we're transforming standard PC components into a fully functional network-attached storage with a 3D printed case. Don't worry if you've missed previous episodes, links are in the description below. In the last episode, we started solving some issues from first NAS prototype, and there were some important ones. This episode is all about resolving the last issues, printing the revised components, and completing the assembly. I will also install NAS operating system and a module to watch movies. First, I assemble all the parts I changed in the last episode. We changed the whole structure, so I almost restart the assembly from scratch with motherboard bolted to back structure, and all corners and bars assembled. With space I added in the last episode, they fit nicely together. When I take care of the hard drive box with the new stronger bottom plate, I also make sure cables are placed so they can be plugged correctly. This is not real cable management, but it is useful so the computer works. For example, back fan cable needs to run under hard drives or fan plug won't be accessible on the motherboard. I also plug hard drives on motherboard because a NAS without hard drive is just a box with lights. Now it's time to tackle last issues, and we will start with some pads under the NAS box. I don't want the structure to be damaged when I see the time it takes to remove everything, so I start with a simple extrusion with a draft angle of 20 degrees and I add some fillets to remove sharp angles. And I create a mounting hole with a recess for screw head. So far, only basic stuff. Then I create a cut so the feet adapt to bottom plate thickness. This way they will take the load on a larger surface, and this will increase stability of the whole assembly. When I mate the first foot, I leverage this mate with the foot using feature called Copy with Mates. So I don't recreate everything, I just select new references for every new part. It saves a lot of clicks, flat bottom face, vertical orientation, and we are good to go. Once I've done that and got my 4 feet in place, I can mark the issue as resolved and move to the next one. For this next one, it will be quick. I need a power splitter. This will require only an order. This is key to power motherboard correctly, but this is not in the CAD model. Now it is printing time, and I print feet with one hard drive drawer to save time. Once printed, I just put assemble feet with 1 screw each, and I also add new screws. I added to reinforce hard drive box. Now it won't move anymore. It is far better like that. Next issue is a little bit embarrassing, but it needs to be solved anyway. When I tested my first prototype, I realized the hole in the back plate was in front of a network plug that didn't work. So as it was, NAS couldn't work. To solve that issue, we will see the power of parametric features, because I just need to open the sketch on the back plate where network plug hole is drawn and change the dimension. And that's all. I check that hole is in front of the plug, save everything, and mark issue as solved in issue management. Then I need to remove all cables attached to backplate, like the power cable and the full switch assembly, remove the fan and install everything on the new plate with the right network location. By the way, I don't have 3D printing video for this part, and I'm sorry for that. Once everything is in place, I can mark the issue as solved and move to that last one. Finally, last issue I have to solve is a problem with hard drive cables that interfere with back fan with a terrible noise. As noise is an important parameter for a NAS, I cannot leave this problem as it is. Cables could also prevent fan from turning, and this is even more important. I will add a perforated plate between fan and cable so they cannot block the fan anymore. So I take dimensions directly on the assembly with dimensions between holes. Then I start a new part where I enter these dimensions to create the plate and mounting holes. You can see how xDesign knows I created some holes and proposes the same diameter. I just need to accept or put another dimension in case proposal is not the one I needed. xDesign proposes and you choose. I use the same method I used for the backplate to create holes, but I make sure they are big enough so airflow is sufficient. Then I mate this new plate with back fan, and as you can see, it fits nicely. I just need to mark the problem as solved, and we will try to fix last one during assembly phase, as it shows cables need to be hidden. I will do it anytime cables are long enough to be hidden. For the last time in this assembly, this is a quick printing time. Now I can fix the plate directly on the fan where some holes were available, and I finish with putting the fan in place. As you can see, now cables cannot interfere with the fan. I finished the assembly with last transparent plates, including the one with both SSD once all cables are correctly placed. They are still visible, but I won't be able to do better with this length of cables. And now finally assembly is finished, but will it start? Yes, it's on. So I need to install a NAS operating system. I chose TrueNAS, but this is only my choice. You can install whichever system you are more familiar with. I have to define what each drive is meant for. I will create a storage pool with my 3 hard drives and assigned cache SSD, which is needed for a NAS. Then I install Jellyfin to create a video server, so I have access to description and content of my movies. Of course, please use this only with movies you own. So I can now consider this project as finished, finally. If you want to create your own models for a 3D printer, check out SOLIDWORKS for Maker's website to subscribe to xDesign for low price and start designing today. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.